I tried to get this thing rolling a couple times. Had some technical difficulties, but being completely transparent with you, right now we're $658 in profit. My screen is recording, and I'm gonna layer it on here to the chart whenever we get done. And we've already made $899. So our base level is like $1,500 give or take. So whatever we make on top of that throughout this video, you'll be able to see it on my phone when I overlay it onto the chart. But we're currently in 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in 6 trades. AUD USD buy, US 30 buy, UK 100 buy, USD shift, sell, now 100 buy, Euro GBP buy. Now, I was saying before, I'll leave these ones that the bot's actually running on. I'll just leave them on the 1 hour, then I'll open up some of these other ones to kind of get a better look, be a little more nosy. Run them on like 15 minutes or so. But essentially, what I do is when it enters me in these trades, I just hang out here and I just kind of float back and forth through the symbols that I have open trades in and just check it out. And if there's something I see that I don't like, I just close it out. On to the next one. If it's a trade that I'm really don't like the setup, I won't even give it a chance if I don't want to. In a lot of cases, if it starts going into drawdown like quick, it's probably not the best setup anyway. Because when this thing's rapid fire, like all cylinders go, I mean you won't even see right on the screen hardly. There'll be like zero drawdown, and you're going straight into profit. So if you are getting that for who, I mean, I've only sold one of these things, but for whoever does decide to buy one, if you ever get that, just turn it off and give it a couple hours, run it the next session. But when this thing's really getting after it, I mean, it won't hardly have any drawdown whatsoever. Like these 3 buys that just came in, you'll be able to see it when it popped up. I mean, it's straight blue and it never even turned red. That still hasn't been red yet. And I know I've said this 50 times by now, but I keep having to redo these videos. But take your little cursor here and kind of scroll over the stop loss. It'll give you how many pips it is, and it'll give you the amount of dollars in USD. And then it's just one click adjustments as well. You want to move it, it's easy as that. Or you can even grab your phone. What's a good spot you guys can see? Say I'm going to move the stop loss to 66565. 66565. Boom. See, it just does it real time. Pretty nifty. But it's kind of handy to have, so you don't have to use the calculators and stuff. I mean, especially if you're trading indices, this stuff gets it's not hard. It's just pain in the butt sometimes. This is shows you right there. You're trying to figure out the amount of dollars per pips and what's the pip worth on indices and all that good stuff. When you can just scroll your little cursor over here and you say, okay, if I hit take profit 3, I'm gonna get 22,250. And what would be my maximum loss? $673.50. like this AUD USD buys are running for like 5 minutes or so. Hasn't turned blue yet. We're at minus $50, closing it. Don't need it. We got other trades running. If it didn't start out in profit relatively quickly, close it out. And I hardly ever let these things run all the way to their take profits. I mean, you can. A lot of people do, but I like to get my money when the money's still there instead of giving half of it back to them. But like right now, I mean, it's just on fire. I mean, we're got 3 trades open, all of them are plus $200, plus 300. No, and you don't have to run this thing all the time. I mean, if you buy one and join, I'll give you all my strategies. I mean, there's ways to do this where you don't have to trade 5 minutes. You enter it, turning that thing onto your account at the perfect time after you've kind of got to lay the market. I mean, you can make $500 in 5 minutes. I mean, that's all it takes. $500 a day, or $500 5 days a week. I mean, pretty comfortable living, really, for a $400 trading robot. Because that's where they're better than we are, is at entries. I mean, their timing's the best. I mean, they can't take other things in consideration, but I mean, that's why you don't let them run too long. If you have an entry and exit plan, I mean, you can do a lot of damage with these things. See, like this one, this candle hadn't even turned green yet. This one, when entered to buy. Like, you could have, I mean, if you were just guessing, you maybe could have got that, but the AI gets it. I mean, it kind of knows before you do. Like, I probably would have waited till this candle closed above this blue line to even buy. And then by that time, I mean, who knows? You're definitely not already up $400. And what'll help too is like go through and mark these charts out like you're trading them yourself. I mean, just because the bot's entering trades, I mean, you gotta, if you give it every hand you got, put a little bit extra work in this thing. I mean, it won't let you down on its end because the more things you stack in its favor, the better it's gonna do for you. And if you go and you do win for 8, you run for 8 or 10 hours, and I mean, I do it all the time, and you'll make a killing. And that next session is just not the same because it's not trading the same. So when you do have a good session, turn the thing off. Turn it off for a couple of days. If you take a $2,000 account, and I've done this on several occasions, and doubled it in a day, probably good for the week. Probably good for 10 days. But when you start breaking that thing out the next session, it never goes according to plan. It's never going to be as good. A lot of times it's not. It's going to be a lot worse. Especially if you don't turn it off and let it kind of recalibrate. It's just going to trade the same way it did the whole day. But problem is there's not as much volume in the market. Say it's like the Asian session. And if there's not as much volume and they're just pushing it one direction, I mean, you're going to give all the money back to them. And that's another thing. This thing works very good in ranging markets when there's like a little tug of war going on between the buyers and sellers. If it's one-way traffic, don't even run it. Because it doesn't know. Because it doesn't know that they just want to push it up. Because if it's basing, because it's just reading the data, and if a lot of it's based off several different moving averages we have in there, well, if it's for that time period, it's way higher than it should be. It's probably going to be trying to sell, but it doesn't know that dudes in Wall Street are going to push it up for 4 more hours till lunchtime. And this thing, like, because the entries are so precise, I mean, you can use a bigger lot size on a smaller account compared to like what you'd use for yourself. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting this by any means. It's not a recommendation. But I mean, I've had $10,000 accounts that ran 0.50 US 30 and made $8,000. There ain't no way I'd be able to trade with that lot size. I'd get about one trade in, and then I wouldn't even be able to do it anymore. Be too low in cash. But then if you look at it that way, then you're going up 10 points and you made $500. And if the bot's entries like right on point, I mean, you'd be in and out of the trade in 30 seconds. I'm gonna cut this one off and we're gonna start a new one.